The movie commences amidst a chaotic traffic jam, with Francois and his 16-year-old son Emile embroiled in a heated argument. Emile, visibly frustrated, voices his reluctance to have accompanied his father. Their dispute intensifies, prompting Emile to abruptly exit the car, prompting Francois to pursue him. As they navigate the scene, they observe an ambulance nearby exhibiting unusual tremors and peculiar sounds emanating from within. Reacting swiftly, Francois guides his son to safety just as a mutant creature, part bird, part human, bursts from the ambulance's rear door. Despite efforts by security officers to restrain it, the creature overpowers them and flees. Eventually, father and son reach a hospital to visit Emile's ailing mother, Lana. While awaiting news, they observe a child exhibiting reptilian behavior, flicking his tongue. Subsequently, it is revealed shockingly that Lana has undergone a transformation into a creature, characterized by abnormal hair growth across her body. The revelation unfolds that a widespread wave of mutations has swept the world, resulting in numerous humans inexplicably transforming into creatures, exhibiting violent tendencies akin to the earlier encounter with the Birdman. Authorities are diligently apprehending these mutants, housing them in secure facilities in hopes of finding a cure before humanity's demise. Emile, reluctant to confront his altered mother, fears her following a recent scratch incident. However, Francois reassures him of her underlying unchanged nature. As discussions unfold, a doctor suggests transferring Lana to a newly established institution in the rural southern region. Francois seizes the opportunity to break free from the judgmental societal constraints, readily accepting the proposal. Subsequently, he ventures to meet his mutated wife, while Emile cautiously observes from a distance. The narrative then shifts to a few weeks later, with Emile, Francois, and their faithful dog settling into their new abode nestled near the forest. Francois secures employment promptly and immerses himself in work, while Emile commences his education at a new school. On his inaugural day, Emile faces a barrage of inquiries from an inquisitive classmate named Nena when the teacher introduces him. When pressed about his family, Emile fabricates the falsehood that his mother has passed away. That evening, a violent storm ravages the town, resulting in power outages and structural damage. At dawn, Francois receives an urgent summons from law enforcement, prompting him and Emile to hasten to the nearby lake. Upon arrival, they encounter the area cordoned off by authorities due to an ambulance submerged in the pond following the storm, resulting in numerous casualties. Francois discerns a mutant figure amidst the water, realizing that his wife was among those transported in the same vehicle. Gripped by horror, he rushes towards the pond in search of Lana, only to be restrained by the authorities. Officer Julia discloses that Lana's body remains unrecovered, suggesting a potential escape into the forest. Learning this, Francois experiences a sense of relief and newfound hope for a reunion with his wife. The next day at school, the gym teacher orchestrates a tug-of-war contest. At the onset, Emile's entire team falters, tumbling to the ground. Yet, Emile astonishingly persists in pulling alone until his teammates regroup, ultimately clinching victory. While his peers marvel at Emile's prowess, he grapples with confusion over his unexpected strength. Upon scrutinizing his hands, he discovers something peculiar, prompting a hasty retreat. Arriving home, Emile employs tweezers to extract tiny claws protruding from his palms. Removing his shirt, he observes his back contorting, a startling realization that he, too, is undergoing mutation. The ensuing morning, Francois frequents a mall where he encounters Julia. Amid their conversation, screams erupt from the surrounding crowd as a mutant incursion unfolds, plunging the scene into chaos. Reacting swiftly, Julia pursues the intruder, discovering it to be a child seeking sustenance. Despite the benign intent, Julia apprehends the mutant, unwilling to gamble on potential risks, and swiftly subdues it. Meanwhile, Francois, scouring beneath some shelves, stumbles upon another mutant. Moved by its fearful countenance, he opts against involving the authorities. That evening, Emile attends a party teeming with classmates. Succumbing to excessive drinking, he tumbles from his seat, prompting Nana's concern. Attempting to offer medication, Nana is taken aback when Emile, in an odd gesture, licks her hand to retrieve it, unsettling the gathering. Overwhelmed by embarrassment, Emile flees into the woods. The subsequent morning finds Emile disoriented near the lake, coughing up blood before hastening home. Discovering a feather in his mouth, he realizes with horror that he consumed a bird during the previous night, a testament to his uncontrollable mutation. The realization unsettles Emile, realizing the gradual loss of control over his changing form. That evening, father and son venture into the forest in search of Lana, immersing themselves in hours of her favorite music and calling out to her in vain. Exhausted, they retire to their car and drift into slumber. Upon dawn, Emil embarks on a walk with his dog, encountering a chameleon mutant ascending a tree along the way. Abruptly, the birdman materializes, launching an assault that leaves Emil wounded. However, the birdman halts upon recognizing Emil's mutant nature, freezing in realization. Simultaneously, Francois intervenes, swiftly extracting Emil from the perilous encounter with the birdman. Upon reaching safety in their car, Francois insists they head to the hospital, but Emil vehemently objects, fearing exposure of his mutation to others. Amidst their heated exchange, they narrowly avoid colliding with a horse, which happens to belong to Julia, currently on the hunt for a feral mutant. Seeking assistance, Francois approaches Julia, requesting aid in tending to his son's injuries. Inquiring about the wound's origin, Emil fabricates a tale of a dog bite, convincing Julia to lead them to a nurse for treatment. The ensuing day finds Emil at school, grappling with an inability to focus on his experiment. Startled by the lab ferret's squeaks, he erupts in frustration, urging them to silence. Later, while cycling home, Emil struggles due to his rapidly transforming body. Nina, observant of his plight, offers assistance without judgment, extending an invitation to her home and preparing lunch. During their interaction, Emil discovers a dead bird in Nina's refrigerator, prompting a realization that he hadn't consumed it, but had instead left it as a gesture. Nina explains her intention to donate it to mutants, fostering empathy and understanding between them. That evening, Emil catches some fish and offers it to Birdman, who is trying to master his flying skills. Guiding Birdman to a nearby lake, Emil clears obstacles from the water's surface, providing a conducive environment for practice. Birdman, plagued by injuries from previous failed attempts, finds solace in Emil's gesture, finally able to navigate the skies without harm. However, Emil's own struggles persist as he grapples with his mutating physiology. Abandoning his bike in the forest, he concocts a story of theft to deceive his father. The subsequent day at school brings further challenges as Emil experiences a humiliating moment when a tooth dislodges during conversation with friends. Resorting to a lie about it being a baby tooth, he retreats in embarrassment. Returning to Birdman's side, Emil witnesses the mutant's ongoing struggle to master flight, compounded by frustration and repeated failures. In a poignant moment, Emil removes Birdman's bandages, revealing the disfiguration caused by botched medical intervention. Meanwhile, Francois and Julia come to the forest in search of Lana, stumbling upon Emil's abandoned bicycle, sowing confusion. Francois' return home brings a startling revelation as he unclogs the bathroom sink, discovering hair and claws, signaling Emil's mutation. Confronted by his father, Emil initially attempts to flee, but Francois' embrace prompts a tearful confession, acknowledging his transformative journey. The next morning, Francois gives his son some medications so that he can control his impulses. He also advises him to regularly trim his nails and shave his back, so that his friends don't find out the truth. Later, Emil goes to the forest and learns that Birdman cannot speak anymore. He can just make bird noises, indicating that his transformation is complete. The mutant then climbs up a tree and takes a leap of faith to check his ability. Luckily, he is able to fly like a bird now, making him very happy. When night falls, Emil meets Nina, and they take a stroll through the cornfields. Their conversation eventually turns romantic, and they end up making out. In the heat of the moment, Emil takes off his shirt, and this is when Nina notices his deformed back. But she claims that she already knew about it, and proceeds to have coitus with him. Once they are done, they return to the school grounds and Emil goes to the bathroom. There he is cornered by one of his classmates, who claims that he saw him and Nina getting dirty on the field. He then whips out a device and makes a sharp noise. This causes Emil immense pain, and when he can't take it any longer, he scratches his classmate's face before running away from there. Emil heads straight to the cornfields, but the locals have already been alerted of his presence. Some mutant haters are now coming after him with rifles in their hands. Panicked, Emil runs as fast as he can, but the men are catching up to him at an alarming rate. At one point, one of the hunters is about to shoot him, but Birdman arrives out of nowhere and attacks the man, killing him on the spot. He then flies into the air so that his friend can follow him to safety. After a period of time, Emil traverses a bridge, only to be targeted by hunters who unleash gunfire upon him. Tragically, Birdman becomes a casualty of a stray bullet, plummeting to the ground. Emil rushes to his side, attempting to aid him, but Birdman succumbs to his wounds in Emil's arms. This loss shatters our protagonist, yet he cannot afford the luxury of mourning as the hunters rapidly close in. Reluctantly, he leaves his friend's lifeless body behind and flees deeper into the forest. The scene transitions to a few days later, revealing that Emil has successfully evaded capture, surviving on a diet of wild berries and vegetation. One rainy night, seeking shelter in a cave, he encounters a bear, initially startling him. However, to his astonishment, the bear is none other than his long-lost mother, Lana. Their emotional reunion is marked by a gentle nuzzle, expressing their profound love for one another. Lana guides Emil to a secluded enclave within the forest, where a community of mutants like them coexists peacefully. Emil finds solace in this sanctuary, liberated from the judgment of others. However, his newfound happiness is abruptly disrupted when a contingent of law enforcement officers descends upon the location. Employing a distressing sound to incapacitate the mutants, they apprehend them all, save for the chameleon girl, who eludes detection through camouflage. The narrative shifts to the police station, where Francois aids Emil in fabricating a story, claiming that he wandered into the forest due to excessive drinking. However, Emil's inability to sign the release papers due to his physical condition arouses suspicion. Before the officer can act, Francois intervenes, forcefully incapacitating him. Taking matters into his own hands, Francois forges Emil's signature, presenting the papers to the receptionist before swiftly departing with his son. They hastily retreat to their car and flee, pursued by law enforcement. Determined to prevent his son from suffering the same fate as his mother, Francois drives recklessly, crashing through a fence to reach a remote area of the forest. With heavy heart, he instructs Emil to run for his life. The movie ends as Emil joyously dashes through the forest, his cries echoing like those of a wild creature. So, what do you think of this movie? Did you enjoy the recap? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. One like and subscribe is highly appreciated. Share this video to your friends and family too. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.